Hello and welcome to a very special edition of KellieTV. I have a really cool guest here with me, Miss Marlene King. Marlene, thank you so much for being here today. Yes, I have a few things I want to talk to you about. I've been in this relationship with you with Pretty Little Liars for what, more than 5 years now? And I just want to tell you, Marlene, that it's over. And it's you. It's not me. And guess what else, Marlene? We are never, ever getting back together. Yep, that's right. I don't even want to see your face again. In fact, I've officially broken up with you. Alright, so if you hadn't realized by now, the finale and the reveal of Charles/A was one of the worst moments of my life. Yes, I might be overreacting just a little bit, but wait, I'm not. I spent so many years watching this show, so many hours thinking up the most grand, wonderful theories. I had so many different theories, Marlene. I mean, did you even look at my videos? They were better than what you came up with. I mean, all of the PLL fans had better ideas, better theories than what you gave us, okay? Okay, let me calm down. We need to talk about the episode. I need to do a recap for you guys. I'm gonna try to calm down, but let me tell you, it's really, really difficult. So, this episode starts out where it looks like Charles is going to jump off the roof, and I wish that Charles had jumped off the roof. Sorry, not sorry, but we'll get to that a little bit later. This was actually a little bit in the future, and the girls are like, don't jump, don't jump. So then they go back to like earlier that day, and we see the liars with scary Sarah Harvey, and actually Mona shows up because I was wondering, I think you were wondering too, like why she wasn't at prom. Well, she was actually at prom in one of the red capes and this scary mask. So she says she's been tracking Allison and trying to figure out where Charles is. So there's a lot of totally unbelievable sci-fi crap, Matrix level in this episode that really aggravates me. Like, what is up with that? Where did this come from? I feel like that's just totally out of place and quite ridiculous, but somehow Mona's, we knew she was technologically inclined, but she's been able, with this super tech gear, she's been able to track down Charles's super lair. This happens to actually be inside the KellieTV group, which is no surprise that Charles is connected with that. So Hannah stupidly assumes that Reese is Charles. Please, Hannah, buy a clue. You've actually been smart most of this season. Don't go back now. So I actually got really excited when the finale started, even though the Matrixy stuff was going on. And I was like, this is going to be good, because all of a sudden they showed us two people's bodies. Jason, even though I love him, and Mr. D. And I was like, wow, they've killed two people off the top. You go, Pretty Little Liars, you go. But of course, it was just another cruel joke they were playing on us. I mean, not that I want these people dead, but can't they do something, cool or something? Can't they go there? No. So Allie wakes up in Charles's presence, I guess. This is actually Radley where he's keeping her. And she sees like pics of their family, pics when Charles was a kid and, Jason was a kid and stuff. So Spencer and the Liars are trying to crack this passcode to get into this super lair at the KellieTV group. Did anyone have or see 400 red flags when Sarah was like, oh, hey, I think I know what the passcode could be. It's like Charles's birthday, September 7th. Okay, girl, how'd you know his birthday? Probably because you were working with him. Yeah, I think most of us call that. Anyway, so Charles's Uber lair that they break inside of was seriously borderline ridiculous. I'm like, what am I watching here? Is this really Pretty Little Liars? Because this is silly. The second time I watched it, I was like laughing. Like, really? Anyway, so if we didn't realize that Sarah was a bad guy by now, I think we had that confirmed when she was like, hey girls, I'm just gonna wait outside. And then, of course, the door slams and they get trapped in the Matrixy lair. So, the girls end up having a live view inside this high-tech place of what is going on with Charles and Allie. Of course, they're freaking out because they're like, he's gonna kill her, which that doesn't happen. The moment that Charles turned around, my heart completely sank. I will never forget it. It's like in a year we'll be like, do you remember where you were when Charles turned around? When it was revealed that Charles was actually not a he, but a she, and that Charles was freaking CeCe? Yeah, CeCe. Funny thing is, some of you called it. Some of you actually called it on my videos. You were like, I think it's CeCe. After they lied to us and said, we're not going to go the transgender story route. Do you remember when the writer said this? Do you remember? Yep, the proof is still out there. So right then and there I was mad because I've been lied to like so many times. And I had to break up with Marlene because she's like a terrible boyfriend. She's promised so many things to me and so many things to you, and every time she doesn't deliver. And this time I really believed her, okay? But never again, because she's fooled me once, she's fooled me twice, she's fooled me 3 times, she's fooled me 4 times. No, you're not gonna fool me again. We have to break up with this. This is not right. I mean, this is not a good relationship. We have to move on. Anyway, so I really never expected to see CeCe. I would have been okay with pretty much anyone. Well, maybe not Tippy the Bird, maybe not Eddie Lamb, but CeCe, really? I could have accepted Ren. I know a lot of you wanted Ren to be A. I could have accepted it. I could have lived with it. I could have even accepted that Jason was like dealing with multiple personalities and that he was actually Charles or something like that. But, you know, at this point, I'm 100% disgusted. I can't deal. And then we find out that Mr. D and Jason, they aren't even dead. They're just drugged and they can hear everything, but they can't move or talk. But does anybody care? Nope. So then we got to hear the writers try to have some sloppy reasoning as to why CeCe was A. And that's when we had like 4,000 bazillion million plot holes, which I'll get into in just a little bit. You know, some of it fit together. But anyway, so we find out that obviously CeCe was born a boy and was born as Charles. And she said she really loved Allie. Like, Allie meant a lot to her. She loved her so much she tried to drown her in the tub. Well, at least that's what Mr. D thought. But CeCe says this was just an accident. But did you notice the kid's little smirky grin when Mr. D was getting her out of the bathtub? I mean, it looked kind of evil to me. Anyway, so Mrs. D supported that CeCe was going to identify as a girl, or that Charles was going to identify as a girl, but apparently Mr. D did not. Of course, this is going to cause her trauma like throughout her life, and I can understand that part of the story. I get that. That isn't really my main issue. My main issue is how nothing fits together, how it feels like all of this was thrown together at the last minute. Okay, I have a lot of main issues, like, about this show. Like, a lot. So, anyway, the liars all agree that Mr. D is the main villain of this entire show now. I'm like, okay, really? I don't understand why the show decided to turn everything into this and to make some kind of statement and to turn it into an abusive parent thing. Why? Why can't we just make it about someone who, you know, was out to get the girls for a reason that made sense? Why do we have to do all this? Why do we have to make some kind of social statement here? Ridiculous. So CeCe is beyond pissed. I mean, you could say that because she's gone completely crazy because no one really came to visit her, and her mom was really the only one who supported her. So now it makes sense why we saw in that Christmas episode the extra dress. All that stuff makes sense because she supported her dressing like a girl. So we finally get to meet Bethany, but sadly we see her as a child, and here's one of the huge, biggest plot holes in the whole freaking show. So anyway, they're up on the roof, Charles and Bethany, as kids at Radley. And Charles kind of freaks out because he's wearing a dress and he hears Toby's mom coming. And so he's like, Bethany, help me, you know, whatever. So he hides. And then Bethany really does help him. And she pushes Mrs. Kavanaugh off of the roof. How ridiculous. But to make matters even worse, she's like, no, I didn't do it. Charles did it. And everyone believed her. And Charles was like, he took the fall for that murder, which was completely crazy. But the problem that we have here is that a couple of seasons ago, they showed us a flashback of Allie and Toby as teens talking to Mrs. Kavanaugh, which makes absolutely no sense since Charles and Bethany were children with Mrs. Kavanaugh when she died, right? So Marlene was trying to explain this to people on Twitter. I'm going to have to read it to you because it makes no sense to me. But basically she says that we saw Toby as a teen with his mom in a flashback, but they weren't really teenagers, but the actors were having to play them, but we have to think in our minds that they were younger than that. I don't know, please, I don't know. It is like The Matrix, okay? There is no spoon. Anyway, you should go look at that on Twitter. Whatever. So CeCe says that Mrs. D paid off Wilden to cover up this murder, which makes me completely LOL because was Wilden like the first ever child cop? Can someone please explain that to me? So Mrs. D staged a Charles funeral, which we have seen some proof of before because we have that empty grave and the empty tomb, or the tombstone where Charles died, where no one was buried. But sadly he had to go back to Radley, but this time he went back to Radley under the name Charlotte. So the liars realize that CeCe and Redcoat are going to blow up Radley. Whatever. I'm laughing again at this point. But the episode takes a really disgusting turn when we realize, which I guess we should have realized before now, that CeCe had tried to seduce her brother Jason at Rosewood High. Why, I don't really know, even though she swears nothing really happened between them. Don't even know why they needed to go there. Absolutely disgusting on 400 levels. So Mr. D never realized that CeCe was his son when he met CeCe because he thought that CeCe was his other son's girlfriend. It's kind of like a soap opera, isn't it? So apparently Bethany snuck out of Radley because she was going to attack Mrs. D, or at least that's what CeCe thought. So CeCe thought she was following her in the yellow tank top. It was actually her sister Allie, and she hit her over the head with the rock. Freaked out when she realized it was Allie, but then they didn't check her pulse or anything, so they assumed she was dead, and Mrs. D buried her daughter, who was actually alive. Okay. So Mona, I love this part, when she casually was like, you know what, I killed Bethany. Like, okay. But she killed Bethany because she said she thought it was Allie. Are you following this? This is so ridiculous. I mean, so ridiculous. Then Wilden, who is all grown up now, was paid by Mrs. D to cover up the Allie murder, which never happened. And apparently CeCe got super rich and was able to build lairs and matrixy stuff in a dollhouse because she got rich off the stock market. Yeah, that totally makes sense. I'm sure that took them all of 2 minutes to figure out and plan. So CeCe says that she was visited by Mona and Radley. Now we remember this scene from a few seasons back. The person in the red coat, which ends up being CeCe in a red bathrobe. But CeCe was like, you know, Mona was so drugged she thought it was Allie meeting her. But don't you remember, plot hole number 562, that Mona said she didn't take the drugs at Radley? Okay. Right. Right, Marlene. Right. Whatever. So I really don't understand why CeCe wanted to stalk, harass, and hurt the liars. She says it was because they were happy that Allie was gone. Sorry, girl. That's not a good enough excuse for me. Please work harder on your motive. Please, writers, have a little more thought when you're writing this. How freaking ridiculous. So Mona helped CeCe break out of Radley, and you know, I feel like this is where, when Marlene kept saying there's going to be twins or you're going to see double, she was talking about CeCe and Allison because they're sisters and kind of look alike, or they're brother and sister and kind of look alike. And this is kind of their take on the books where there were the twins, Allie and Courtney. You know, they really pretty much done what the books did. They just gender flipped it, you know, if you think about it. Okay, so anyway, I have no freaking clue why Sarah Harvey's so important. We really pretty much just met her, even though we'd heard of her before, but all of a sudden she's like the other main villain. And it ends up that she is Redcoat and Blackveil, which we had hoped it would be two people, and that was their one chance to redeem themselves after all this CeCe nonsense and plot hole nonsense. They could have made someone we cared about Redcoat or someone we cared about Blackveil, but no! They made this insignificant person who no one likes. I haven't heard one person say they like this character at all. And she's both big people. And I don't even know why. Like, where did CeCe meet her? What is her deal? I couldn't tell you. Could you tell me? Please, if you can, put it in the comments down below. Anyway, CeCe admits to killing Wilden, if anyone gives a crap at this point. CeCe says she found Mrs. D's dead body, which is something, one little mystery, or we have a lot of mysteries. But anyway, that's something they don't answer in the finale. It doesn't really make sense either. She claims she just found her like laying on the ground at night and she was dead, and we don't know who killed her. But you know what? Marlene says they're going to tell us in 6B if you want to stick around for that, or if you want to believe anything that she says. She also says that I'm Winnie the Pooh and whatever. I know that was a bad analogy, but come on now. The only part of the episode which I thought was absolutely amazing was when Emily stopped Sarah to punch her in the face. And I guess she punched her so hard she had to go to the hospital, which I love that. I'm so happy for that. That's wonderful. Sadly, CeCe decides not to jump off the roof, which, like, you know, why not? Why couldn't she have done that after they've already they already killed the episode anyway. Oh wait, they've already killed the whole series. The liars leave to go to college. It was sort of sad, I guess. I really did enjoy seeing them 5 years into the future because they all look beautiful, especially Allie, who's now married to someone we've never heard of, and she's a teacher. And guess what, guys? Some man is after her. Oh my gosh, guys, is it Uber A? Is it this new big bad character that they've completely just made up out of the blue? Oh my gosh, who could it be? I don't care. Okay. I know I'm being really negative, but I'm very frustrated. And just, this is a couple days after the finale, and I'm still very, very, very unhappy about this. And so are you guys. I've been talking to you guys on Twitter like nonstop, like seriously nonstop, and I love it. And let me say this, if you like the finale, we can still be friends. I completely understand that. Well, I don't understand why you like it, but I appreciate other people's opinions, and I don't, we can still talk, we can still chat. Tell me why you like the finale. Tell me down below. I'm open to hear anything you have to say. But I asked you guys to point out some of the plot holes, and if I went through all the plot holes, this video would probably be like 24 hours long, and nobody's got time for that. So let me point out a few that I thought were very interesting. So CeCe said that CeCe is part of the Nat Club, or we were told that CeCe was part of the Nat Club, and she was the prom queen of Rosewood High. It was even in the yearbook, yet she did not attend Rosewood High, right? Ridiculous. CeCe sent a picture of her dead mom to torment Allie when she hated the fact that her mom died. Like, why would you make fun of that? Ian killed himself. Why? Wilden was a child cop, probably the funniest thing ever. And there are so many other plot holes. Feel free to leave those down below. And thumbs up if you think there's at least one plot hole in this finale, because you are correct. So, you know what? I feel like the people behind this show, the directors and the writers, they don't like it that we didn't like this episode, okay? They really don't like it, and they're a little bit in denial. I mean, Marlene's been tweeting out that she appreciates everyone's nice comments about the episode. Okay, Marlene, what universe are you in? Because I don't think you're living in the real life or the real world. But perhaps my favorite responses have come from Norman Buckley, who is at Norbuck on Twitter, one of the directors of Pretty Little Liars, who I had to unfollow because he talked down to so many different fans and was just basically, sorry not sorry, being a jerk. He tried to explain all of the nonsense that happened in the episode as dream logic. Dream logic. Okay, now I get it. Now that makes perfect. Thank you, Norman. I get it. Anyway, so I had a little contest on my last video, and I was asking you guys who you thought Charles was. And you know what? Several of you, or a few of you, a handful of you, commented CeCe. And at the time I was like, they said they weren't going to go that way, but whatever. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion, their own guesses. Well, guess what? Some of you were right, so I put everyone who got that answer correct into a random number generator on the internet. And the winner is Flipping Tara. Tara, I have sent you a message. You have 48 hours to get back to me, and I will send you that $100 Ellen Shop gift card. Congrats, and I hope to have more contests in the future, so I'm sorry if you didn't win this time. Stay tuned. You'll have more chances to win. In closing, I want to say thank you guys so much. Like, I love you guys so, 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 so much. You guys have watched Periscope with me as I watch the show. You have listened to so many of my rants now on my live shows on YouTube, and you've supported my recap videos. And this is definitely not the end. I haven't really decided what I'm going to do about Season 6B and Season 7 because I need some time to cool off, and I'm glad that I have a few months to do that. But you can still chat with me here and on Twitter, and I'm going to be doing lots of cool things with my channel. Lots of cool things. So I want you to stay tuned for that. And I'll probably still do some PLL videos. I would like to do like a video about all the plot holes, or maybe a few videos because there's so many, and some other things. And I want to do some vlogs and challenge videos and stuff like that. So I just want to tell you again that I love you so much. Thank you for all your support and love and amazing tweets and comments, and I'll see you next time. Bye.